and follow my instructions. I want to show you guys something in terms of pointer precision, DPI and sensitivity settings. This will only work if you have a mouse that can have native steps all the way. Interpolated CPI or DPI will not work. This will also only work if you play a high resolution. If you're playing 800 by 600, this advice is useless. Alright, here we go. Look at these commands. Enable SV cheats 1. Now go to FOV CS debug. This actually sets your field of vision, which you can only change offline because online VAC will not allow it. If I set it to 110 for instance, my game will look something like Unreal Tournament, which is cool, but you cannot use it in any way, shape or form online. What we're going to do is the opposite. We are going to lower the field of view by a lot. Set it to 1. You will now zoom in. For some reason the gun will also go to the top side of the screen, but let's just ignore that. I'm using a Zowie EC1A, which uses a 3310 sensor, which has native DPI steps all along its range. Currently set to 400 DPI, with a sensitivity of 2.4. This is an average sensitivity and DPI setting among professional Counter-Strike Global Offensive players. Now, because we're zoomed in this much, we can actually move pixel by pixel and see how it looks. So let me just move my mouse around. Going extremely fast because of the fact that we're zoomed in that much. Now let me try and move it pixel by pixel. As you can see, it is kind of jittery. And this is not my mouse. My mouse is perfectly fine. My Logitechs do this. My other Zowie does this. All my mouse do this. All my mice, sorry. My English is fucked up sometimes. Please ignore that. But as you can see, especially in a diagonal line, it is jumping pixels. It's literally jumping one up, one right, one up, one right. This is not smooth. Even though it does appear smooth when you're playing at your normal field of view. Now let's change this. I'm gonna pick the same corner and I'm going to set my native DPI to 1600, so we're going to up it a lot. Now we're going to change the sensitivity to 0.6 and it results in the same speed and the same feeling basically as 400 DPI at 2.4 sensitivity. It does feel slightly more smooth in the small movements, which is something I noticed almost right away. It's quite easy to track surfaces, even diagonally now. Let's zoom back in and see what happens. FOV CS debug 1. As you can already tell, when I'm trying to move a pixel, it's a lot smoother. It's still not perfectly smooth, but it's close. That is because at this resolution you basically have more pixels to aim at, and with 400 DPI you will not be able to hit every pixel. Now I'm not saying I'm at the level of Counter-Strike where this matters, I'm not saying you are, but it might. And this is why people in, for instance, the Quake community and the Unreal Tournament community usually play at something like 2000 DPI and a sub 1 sensitivity, because it offers more pixel precision. Now if your mouse has to interpolate and doesn't have native DPI or CPI steps that go high, this is not applicable for you. However, if you have a 3310 sensor mouse or a 3360, it is. Because let's switch back to 400 with a sensitivity of 2.4 it was. And we're jittering again. We're skipping pixels again. And for some reason, I actually had someone else tape over my DPI light, so I couldn't tell which DPI I was playing, and I played a couple of rounds of deathmatch with different settings, and I noticed the differences myself, and I'm just a mediocre Counter-Strike player. So if you want to try this out for yourself, use these console commands fiddle around with your mouse, and I assure you that you will see a difference. So this is 400 DPI 2.4. Let's find the other extreme. My mouse can go up to 3200 DPI native, which means I would have to set a setting of sensitivity 0.3. And it's smooth. It's absolutely much more smooth. Basically, I don't notice the difference over 16 or 1800 DPI myself. I can't notice the difference. But the difference between 400, 800 and 1600 DPI is enormous. And you might just notice this in your gameplay. Because my mouse is just as responsive on all of its DPI settings, but the movement is a lot more smooth on the higher DPI and lower sensitivity settings. Please try this out yourself and let me know how you feel about this, because I personally have now changed from 400 DPI 2.4 sensitivity to 1600 0.6, and I have been performing more consistently in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. See you next time.